Welcome once again to Cheesy Dan Reviews. As always, I'm Cheesy Dan. Up on the plate today, we have Skyzone Cheese Pizza. Skyzone is part of a chain of family entertainment zones that has trampoline park, wall climbing, foam pits, the other, fun stuff for kids to do, but they also have a in-store cafe where you can order some cheese pizza, you can order some drinks and slushies. So, as we've been going through this series on family entertainment zones, the question is this cheese worth your dough? Well, let's find out.
To determine if this cheese is worth your dough, we're going to judge it based on its appearance, its day one taste, its value. Take a slice and stick it in the fridge, come back on day 3 for the reheat. We'll take all 4 scores, add them together, divide them by 4, and then we'll know the cheesy score.
Well, let's open up the box and see what we got. I will say this right off the rip, that is a good looking pizza. In fact, it's almost a little reminiscent of like a Little Caesars cheese pizza. There are a couple little spots where, the cheese didn't fully cover. Not quite sure what that black one is. There might have been a piece of cheese that overcooked. But honestly, a really good looking pizza. So let's see. For an appearance score on this one, very few, minor imperfections. I would say I'm going to put this one at a 9. It is a extremely appetizing looking pizza. It smells good. Now let's pick a slice. I am going to go with this one right here. So let me get this one pulled out. All right. So you can see it is pretty thick when it comes to the cheese. It looks like there's quite a bit of cheese on it. The crust is perfectly cooked. The crust is a thin style crust, but definitely a good amount of cheese. And this isn't like an extra cheese order. I just ordered it just cheese. Also, when it comes to price, this one is definitely the most reasonable cheese pizza we've gotten yet from one of these fun zones. This one came in at $14, including tax, which is kind of unique. Most of them, they advertise a price and then they add tax to it. This one is actually $14 tax and all, which is a great deal. So when it comes to a a value score, I'm going to say this one comes in pretty strong at a 9.5. That is an excellent price for a sit down or family entertainment zone and the best price we've come across yet. Now, something else I do want to mention when it comes to Skyzone, when I looked it up, they do have a little variation between stores. Some stores will have their own in-house fun zone pizza, which this is. Some stores partner with local pizza chains like Domino's or Little Caesars, and they will actually get pizzas from them for their events. In this case, that's not what they do here, so this is actually their brand pizza. And only thing left to do is give it a taste and see what it tastes like. So let's do it. Now on this one, the bread, you can taste almost like a not fully cooked dough taste, but not that it's not. It is totally cooked. It just has a little bit of that hint of a not fully cooked dough taste, which if you like that taste of dough, I mean, that's a good thing. I don't have any problem with it. The cheese itself, there is quite a bit, and it is a good tasting mozzarella. The sauce itself, not really strong. You get just a tiny hint of it, and then it's gone. So it's not a very flavorful taste as far as that goes. So for a day one taste score on this one, it is quite good. It's not, it's not something you're going to stop at Skyzone just to get. But as far as comparability, it does compare a little bit to the Little Caesars. Not quite exactly. I would say this one, as far as a day one taste score, I'm actually going to put this one at a 7. It's a very good taste. It's nothing that knocks your socks off, but man, it's a good cheese pizza. This is something that if you got it, say at Little Caesars, you would have expected this to be their pizza, and they did such a good job cooking it so evenly, no real burn spots, and honestly, they were extremely quick too. So overall, great experience with Skyzone with their pizza. So you know what we've got to do? We need to pick which slice we're going to look at and pick for day 3. So starting here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You tell me which slice you think I should pick, and we'll come back on day 3 and see if you got it right.
3 days later.
All right, let's see how it held up for day 3. So as you can see here, a little bit of that plasticky look, that's just from being in the Ziploc bag in the fridge. Overall though, the cheese does look about like it did on day 1. The crust itself, not really spongy, which is awesome. The smells pretty good. Has a little bit of that dough-like smell that I mentioned in the taste on day 1. But I guess the best thing to do at this point is let's heat it up. Well, now that it's got a chance to cool off some, let's go ahead and let's take a look at how it came up after being reheated. So the slice, of course, you can see the cheese is pretty thick. It did have a good chance to melt down a little bit, so that's always nice. The smell, as I mentioned, not too bad. It's pretty good smell. The overall look of it, like I said, looks about as good as it did on day 1. So let's see how the taste held up. So I wish I could quite pin my finger on what it is that causes it to have a little bit of a doughy taste. I don't know if it's really the crust or if it's even the cheese. The sauce itself, on the center of it, when I took my original day 1 bite, you didn't really get a strong taste of the sauce itself. When I ate further back, and you can see some of the sauce there, you got a little bit more taste of it. The only thing I would say for the sauce, it almost has a tiny bit of a sour taste to it. It's a little bit more obvious now on day 3 than it was on day 1. But overall, cheese still tastes good. Crust tastes fine. Only thing I'm going to ding it for is going to be really on the sauce side of things. So while I was able to give this one a day 1 score of a 7, on day 3, I'm going to give this one a score of a 6. So not a bad fall, just a little bit for the fact of, age. Now, if you're keeping track of what slice I chose, today's day 3 slice, that was actually slice number 2. So if you picked that one, hey, good, you got a good eye. Now with a day 3 taste of a 6, that brings the Skyzone cheese pizza to a final cheesy score of 7.875. Now that is a fantastic finish for a pizza that you just pick up while your kids are playing on the trampolines. And a lot of that had to do with value. And I know there are cheaper pizzas, but again, I'm comparing value of a sit-down restaurant, family entertainment zone against similars. Same thing when it comes to frozen food or fast food cheese pizza. I'm not going to compare them against other groups because they're not going to be priced the same. What really brought this score up was definitely the appearance, great looking pizza, and also the value. And while a 7.875 brings it to a number 4 finish, and that is right below the Cerrone's cheese pizza, don't expect a Cerrone's pizza experience as far as taste compared to this one. And that's why I like to grade it with, appearance, value, taste, day 3 reheat. Because when you look at things and you compare it in value, some of the times a cheaper pizza can be better than it should be based on its value. And some of the times a pizza that tastes amazing, but it's way overpriced, can also bring down the score too. Because no matter how good it is, if you can't afford to go that often, doesn't really matter much. And no matter how cheap it is, if it tastes terrible, doesn't matter either. So keep that in mind. It is a very high finish as a 4th place. And that's something that I think that Skyzone should be proud of, and it kind of makes you wonder why they would choose to use outside vendors for their pizza, unless it's just because maybe they don't have room for the cooking. Don't really know. But in any case, that is a great finish for Skyzone. It's going to be kind of hard to beat this one, especially at $14 tax and all. That's just such a good price. But we've got some more to go, and maybe we'll find one that does. If you're enjoying this series, Please make sure to subscribe and like the video so that you get recommended the future ones and get a chance to go back and watch some of the previous Family Zone pizzas that I've done. If you've got one that you think I should go try that I haven't yet, make sure to put that in the comments as well. And tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think I overgraded it? Or do you think that, I was being fair? But in any case, until we eat again, stay cheesy.